All right, well, this session is going to deal with, this ought to be pretty simple. It can take as little, hello there. Kieran, how are you?
Hello.
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Cool. Now, are you on the air already?
I just got on the air about on Tuesday-ish. I have my EA suits right here. That's all I got, pretty much.
Oh, is that an FT2D?
Yeah.
Nice. I got one of those too.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. So I just started getting on the air about 2 days ago. That's it.
Okay. Do you have the K6 CCR repeater programmed in yet?
I'm on Papa 4.
Oh, okay. I'm on Papa 4 as well.
But I don't have the CCR program yet, but that's next.
Okay.
I know you sent me the offset and all that. I'll program that in.
Yeah. It's, let's see, the FT2D is pretty easy. You don't require a special cable. It's
No, I did it manually.
Oh, did you? Okay. Yeah, if you want to program it and flash up channels from a program like Chirp, it doesn't require a special cable.
Good
Which
deal.
is cool.
Yeah, I ordered this thing called RT automation, something. It's coming on
RT Systems.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, but you won't need an RT Systems for, well, no, wait a minute. I take that back. I am wrong. You do need a special cable.
Yeah, it's coming
It's
on
not
Tuesday.
a standard. Yeah. The only one that doesn't take a special cable, well, a couple of them, the Kenwood D72 and D74s, they do not require a special cable.
For Baofeng.
Yeah. Baofengs.
Yeah,
Hey, Doug Smith. How you doing, Doug Smith?
Right now. Yeah. Okay. Take care. Bye.
Hey, John Melvin. How you doing, buddy?
Let's see.
Hello, John. We hear you.
Hello?
Hello, John. John Melvin, we hear you.
He's not hearing you. He doesn't have his audio up.
I see that.
Into
Hey,
his
John.
earphones, yeah.
John, are you on this now, John Melvin? Uh-oh.
He might
Send him
have,
a text message.
yeah.
I'm going to text him.
Yeah.
If they're wireless earphones, he needs to connect them.
Yeah.
Okay.
There he is. Hey, Doug.
Hello, Doug Smith.
How is my audio?
Your
Great.
audio's better than your hair, mister.
Oh, man.
Don't-
Hey.
Let's stop talking about hair,
Come on,
okay?
guys.
For the time being.
1977 called. They want their haircut
You
back.
betcha, man.
Oh, God, I love that.
Wait a minute. I'm going to get something for you guys.
What up, my toupee?
He's gonna go find somebody who cares is what he's gonna do. Curtis, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see you. And John Melvin, can you hear us now?
Okay.
Very good.
Good. Restaurant, hospital.
I can hear you.
Is that
Good deal.
1974?
Hospitality, huh? Well, look at you. No, move that picture a little closer, because I was going to say that looks just about like you. Maybe.
Wait, isn't that Hugh Hefner?
Yeah, lose the glasses, man.
What's the date on that issue?
Oh,
Look at that.
Huh?
Look at that.
Okay.
He loses the glasses and he turns into a different person.
You see the resemblance here. Okay, this is,
19.
who said 1977?
I did.
Yay!
Hey,
77. something.
September 1977.
I
Oh,
was
go
in high
figure.
All right.
I remember it well.
That's the year I graduated high school.
Okay.
So in September of 77, I would have been a freshman in college.
Well, I was a little bit beyond that, but that's okay.
Shh, I won't tell anyone, I promise.
Does anybody remember the bell bottoms?
You know, I kept those for a very long time, but finally got rid of them not that long ago. Oh well.
Okay, guys. Well, let's go ahead and get started. This is being recorded, so those that join late will be able to catch up on what they missed. First, I would like to request that everyone mute themselves,
Okay. Well, me.
and you'll be able to unmute momentarily by pressing your space bar. And if you're on a phone, you're on your own. How's that, Doug? Anyway,
Okay.
the in-depth operation of this particular software is kind of beyond the scope of the lesson today, but I will answer questions if I know the answer. If not, I'll have to refer you to the writer of the software. I'm going to share this out for you so that we can all be on the same page. This is the website to go to. Whoops, what did I do there? That's not the way to do it. The website to go to, right here. November 3, Foxtrot Juliet Papa.com. And you can see that this guy is a ham, but he's also a code writer. And he's done quite well with this. Scott and Kimberly, there they are if you want to take a look at them. This particular piece of software I have, excuse me, it's a good piece of software. Pardon me, gents, I got to clear my throat here. Okay, I think I'm back. I survived. But the field day contest logger is what we're going to be looking at today. And it has a lot of extra features that are built in strictly for operations on field day. Now, let's see, I want a show of hands. Who is planning to operate on field day this weekend? Oh, look at those hands. Even if you make contacts using your HT on simplex channels only, by the way, you can log those and participate in field day. And when you do, not only may you help your own personal score, but you always help another ham who's participating in field day. And the point, frankly, is not to max out on points. The point is to have fun. And that's what we're going to do. There's Laura. Hello, Laura. So let's dive in. Laura, are you going to operate on field day this weekend? Are you going to make contacts with your HT and log them?
I'm going to try. I'm having a problem. So I need to be out of the house for quite a while, but I'm going to try. I can do it. I'd like to try to do it with WinLink too.
There you go. And that was, I'm glad you mentioned WinLink because you do get credit for the WinLink contacts that you make. And I think that's up to 20 contacts that you make on WinLink. It has to be an RF contact. It can't be Telnet, by the way. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there are WinLink sessions and they're going to be up on the website so that you can look at the YouTube presentations from these Zoom meetings that we record. So let's go ahead and dive back in here and share the screen. We're going to talk about the N3 FJP Field Day Contest Logger. So here we are. I don't have it installed on my system. To download it, you just click on it and go here. Download. Boy, this is really intuitive, isn't it? So we're going to download it. I'm using Chrome. This is the way that Chrome acts. You look down here and see that it actually put it down into my downloads folder. Voila. I don't want to, whoops, I should not have done that way. Let's do it this way. We're going to do open. And when I open it, can you see the installer? Or can you not see the installer, anyone?
Cannot see it.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share that monitor then. Let's stop that, and I'm going to share that side of the monitor so that you will be able to see it. Go away, Pactor WinLink session. Now can you see this installer?
Yep.
Yes.
Good deal. Okay. So what I've done, I've just opened the installer, and it takes, this is the first screen that it takes you to. Next. It's going to ask you, where do you want to put it? I'm going to leave it as the default. If you have reason to put it somewhere else, that is up to you. Otherwise, just click next. Oh, by the way, you can change the destination folder here, or otherwise just click next. And here we go. Blah, blah, blah. It gets to here and we say install, and away it goes. And why is it just sitting there? Oh, there we go. It pops up and says, hey, want to do this? Sure, let's do this. That's how quick it installs. And if I leave this box checked here, it'll launch the program when I click finish, and away we go. And we can see this is version 6.3. If you've used it in the past and have a previous version installed, you can install this right over it. So here we go. This is the program, and it is going to challenge me right here. And to register, enter your call. And for this purposes, I'm going to use K6CCR because that's where we have the license. You can purchase your own personal license if you wish. They're not expensive. It's I think $25 or so. Oh, nope. $8.99 cash. Check our money order. Look at that. $8.99. Wow. So if you want to register it and not use K6CCR and make it yours for every year, there you have it. There you go. I'm going to put in the passcode for K6CCR. And bear with me for just one moment while I look this little puppy up. Any questions so far, by the way? I must be doing something right if you have no questions.
Well, I do have questions.
Go ahead, Laura.
You'll tell us what frequencies to try on our little handhelds too, right? And then if I make WinLink contacts, do I use this with 30 contacts, or do I register?
You don't use this for WinLink. You won't
Okay.
use this for WinLink.
Okay.
But let's see here. I'm having to open up a different location here to get this. Bear with me, folks. I thought I had this down, but I guess I didn't.
Hey, while you're waiting, I just want to thank Khalil. I didn't know about CCARES until Newham's Net on purposes, and he told me about this organization. So thanks, Khalil.
Check you out, Khalil.
You're welcome.
All right, I'm drawing a blank here. Let me do something. Everybody bear with me for just one moment.
While you're working there for a second, if I could just, Kiran, so there's a new Hams net that you are on. I'm a new Hams net nowadays also from an old Hams from 40 years ago. So I need to contact people that I can get some help with an Anytone 878 and a hotspot, which I'm completely lost being able to do anything with. Anybody have any ideas? I'm going to shut up where to direct me, or some people that might be able to help me with that. With all of that.
I sell those radios, so I can help you.
Okay, and I need to get to, hold on, I need to open this up so I can see who's speaking. Is this
Khalil? K6.
Khalil? Okay.
Yeah.
So I should contact you, huh?
Right. My email address is good on QRZ, so go www.qrz.com. You'll see my email address.
Okay. Thank you very much, and I'm done.
You're welcome.
All right, folks. So you can see I've placed the password in and it says, thank you for registering the program. Really appreciate your support and encouragement. Okay.
Oh,
So
wait,
now,
what was that password? You went.
I'll send it to you individually.
Okay.
Okay, but you got to use K6CCR for a call sign,
I
unless you
understand.
register it yourself for your own call sign.
So you don't want to just tell us?
Well, see, this is going up on YouTube.
Good
Oh,
idea.
yeah,
Yeah.
good idea. Yeah.
Okay, so we get here to the initial setup screen, and here I put in my call sign. I'm in USA. My continent is North America. It's good to put in your coordinates if you have them. Your CQ zone and your ITU zone are these are fairly standard. And here we go. So this is what is required for field day. This is where you put in the exchange. And you notice when I click in the class field right here, when I click here, this little pop-up comes up. And it tells you blah, blah, blah. This is all blah, 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 blah. You can click OK. Okay. So I'm going to put my class in. I am going to be a 1 Delta. And our ARRL section is LAX, just like our international airport here. The optional part is down here for the operator. And this is where you don't put your call sign, but you put your name. So I'm going to put in here. Put. Well, go figure. I didn't remember. Ha. And I don't use other initials. I use JK. And so you can see, if we check this box, always display, this form at startup. If you don't want to see it, if it's only for your personal use, you can uncheck that box. If you're in a group, like we normally are at field day, where many people would come and sit down and use the same machine, then you would leave that checked so that every time the program is started, it would prompt them to enter their call sign and their initials. If we had to get on the air station, that would be different. But that's kind of beyond the scope of the program today. All right, so here we are, we're ready to begin. Now, this is something that is really kind of cool because it gives us all kinds of information. You can see that there's columns here where everything outside of North America is considered a DX contact for field day, because field day is a North American activity. Okay, but if we get down here into the one call area, you can see we got Connecticut, East Massachusetts, Maine, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Vermont, and West Massachusetts. Now, maybe Jonathan Levy, you can probably tell me which side of Massachusetts do the massholes live in?
The underside.
Okay. The soft underbelly of Massachusetts, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyway, when we make a contact, excuse me, in one of these ARRL sections, you can see in the 6 call sign, we've got LAX, East Bay, LAX, Orange County. I think this is Pacific.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Look at there. If I mouse over it, go look at that. Santa Barbara, Santa Clara Valley, San Diego, San Francisco, San Joaquin Valley, and Sacramento Valley. That's how the 6 call area is divided, or California, as opposed to Hawaii. And where the heck is Hawaii? I think Hawaii is considered DX. I think. I could be wrong. Anyway, so up here, this is where, well, this is the menu, and we'll go back to that in just a minute, but just to familiarize ourselves with this program. This is a record number because all this is, it creates a relational database, and each record in that relational database contains these fields: a record number, the call sign of the station that you made contact with, that station's class and section, the date and time as read off of the real-time clock down here that's set on your machine, what band, what mode, what country, and the initials and the operator of the person that's using this logging software. Now, this is where right here, you will get that information from that other station. Let's say I made contact with Khalil. I would hear him calling, and he would say, "Oh yeah, I'm a one Bravo, LAX, bingo." And you notice, since I haven't made contact with Khalil, this cute little new flag pops up to tell me, you haven't worked this person. So we make contact. And by the way, one of the first things that I did when I sat down is I noticed what band I was using. And if we click on it with our left button, that goes up, and it'll cycle through every band that is eligible. By the way, if you look here, when we see this, these are all in meters and centimeters: 2 meters, 1.25 meters, which is 220, 70 centimeters, which is the 440 band, 33 centimeters is the 900 megahertz band, 23 is 1.2 gigahertz, 13 is 2.4 gigs. I believe 9 is, I don't know what the heck it is, but you can see it goes way the heck up until it finally cycles back to 160 meters, which is the longest wavelength band that is permissible for a contact on field day. So let's say that Khalil and I were working on 20 meters, and we weren't working CW, we were working phone. Okay, so I want to work 20-meter phone. I cycle through until it says 20-meter phone, or I can actually come up here to the menu. Look at here. And you can select the band that you want to use. Look at there, there's some others in there. 2190 meters, that's a low frequency band. And you can select the mode. There are only 3 modes for field day: CW, phone, digital. That's it. Okay, and some other things there we're going to get to talking about in a little bit. By the way, this operator thing here, it just pulls up that optional 2 fields that for setup at startup, and you can change operators by doing that. Anyway, so we're done making a contact. You can see I'm AJ7C, 1 Delta LAX. I've made contact with K6FCC, a 1 Bravo LAX. And when we're done, I hit enter. Voila. So you can see that the first record for that first contact in my logbook, there he is. There's Khalil, 1 Bravo LAX, and it automatically fills in the date and time. The time is in UTC, or Zulu, whatever you want to call it. And here's the band and the mode, country, initials, and who the operator was. Now that operator is independent of the station call sign. If we were over at the fire station working the K6 CCR station, everything would be K6 CCR, but this would be K6 CCR right here, and the operator would be up here. And the only reason I'm saying that is because many of you will come back next year, and hopefully we're going to be in the fire station doing this together instead of via Zoom or however we're going to be doing things. Other things that have changed, okay? You can see that the LAX has turned from red to blue. That means we have a contact in there. And when I mouse over, you can see Los Angeles, total 1, band 20 equals 1, and phone equals 1. As I change modes, those things are going to change as well. Up here in the score statistics, it automatically lines up our score for us, which is kind of cool. Total phone contacts is 1. Total QSO points is 1. QSOs per hour. If we talk about it and I don't put any more entries in here, this number will start to go down until it says 1, if that makes sense. Okay? So, any questions so far?
Is there a connection to QRZ with the system at all?
We're going to get to that, and I'm glad you asked. So, what we're going to do, we're going to go over here to, now that you open that can of worms, this is where the settings for setup goes. Here's the general setup. If I click on this, you can see it just brings up the master setup screen, okay? And I can make changes here if I so desire. The next one, you can change the appearance. You can change the font size, colors and fonts, blah, blah, blah. All that fun stuff to do. DX spotting, if you know how to do this, you can configure this. The particulars about DX spotting are kind of beyond the scope of this particular presentation. If you are interested in that, I would recommend going into their help utility or just Google DX spotting and it will explain the process. It's really not hard. What it does is when there is a station, this is exclusive to HF. If there's a station that's kind of rare, it's out there, say that there's a station in Santa Lucia, and they are a rare DX station, DX meaning long distance, outside the US. And you've made contact or you hear that station, you can go on what's called a DX spotter and report that you heard that station, and then other stations that are subscribing to a DX spotting service will also see that, and they'll know what the frequency and everything is because you made the report, and you can go listen and try to work that station as well. That's what DX spotting is about. Here we go, transmit. You can set up the CW setup and the phone setup. This requires a transceiver, an HF transceiver, which some of you don't have, some of you do, but you can make all of this interface with your computer. And let's see. Stand by for just 1 second. I want to see what COM ports I'm using. Okay, I'm using COM3. So I'll select that. And then it's sound cards that I have. This is really kind of gets into a situation where there's so many different setups. I mean, every ham setup is unique. If you're using an HT, this really isn't going to apply. So it's really something that most people will not use. This rig interface right here, this is where you select your radio that's connected. Like if I wanted to set up my Kenwood, I would come up here and say there, there. And I could configure it so that this machine, whoops, here we go. What this would do, if I were to configure this to listen to my radio, and it takes note of what mode I'm using, what band I'm using, And that way I don't have to futz with changing bands here or changing the mode here. The program would read my radio, automatically sense what I'm doing, and I wouldn't have to worry about it and then go back and have to correct my entries if I made a mistake. And say I went from phone to CW, or from CW to a digital mode like FT8 or PSK, I wouldn't have to worry about moving any of this. If it's talking to my HF radio, then I'm good to go. Okay, so let's see, back here into settings. If you have a excuse me, if you have a disability, you can do this voice navigation. For instance, well, for the blind anyhow, that's what folks with a vision disability would use. You can look at all this stuff. Most of this you will want to just leave as the default. Now here's the place to register the program. If you don't use the K6CCR key, you can hit register here and it'll tell you how to register. Oh, wait a minute, this software is already registered. Oh, if you'd like to update for a new call sign, then I would click yes. And here, click here to learn how to register, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's going to open a web browser. There we go. Takes me back to where I was. Let's see. Okay, questions?
Will you be emailing the password?
I will email the passcode individually. You got to register it to K6CCR. Okay?
So just a quick question. So on the first box on the setup, that's what I put, right? K6CCR as a call sign. Not the operator, but the station call sign.
Yes, right here is where you'd put K6CCR. Okay?
Thank you.
If you choose to register it yourself for $8.99, then you would put your call sign and the password that Scott sends to you. You put that in there. So what's kind of cool is this thing populates as you continue to work stations from different ARRL sections. And the other thing that it does is I'm on 20-meter phone, and if I hear this K6 FCC character, it's going to warn me, possible duplicate. And then if I if I do something else like that, it's going to tell me, no, you gotta. It looks like I accidentally hit enter. So yeah, he's a duplicate. So that means stop and say, oh, I'm sorry. We already worked. That's one of the beautiful things about this software as pertains to field day. It is designed strictly for field day, although you could use it outside of field day. Oh, let's see. We covered this. Network. This is kind of cool. There was a couple of years where we had 3 stations, actually more than that, but about 5 stations all together at Fire Station 1. And what we did is we networked the program together, and all the instances of this program on different computers, they accessed a central database that was on one of the machines, so that if there is a duplicate, it'll tell us. So yeah, that's kind of cool too. So here's all the bands, the HF bands up here. And here's the 6 meters, 2 meters, all the way down to 3 centimeters. Don't ask me to tell you that frequency. Anybody know the frequency for 3 centimeters? I do not. Okay. So, who's going to download it and register it and use it for field day? Cool
I
deal.
downloaded it.
Okay, okay.
I probably won't register it because I probably won't have that much time on the computer. But I'll probably try to get to 30.
Yeah, if you're, and it'll allow you to do, I think, like you said, 30 contacts for free without registering, I believe is what the deal is. Oh, look at that. Access denied. That's the story of my life. That's because of this thing right here. WinLink snookered me.
And I have no idea what to do with WinLink, but I will try them both tomorrow.
I will try to get something out about how to get credit for WinLink for you. Okay?
Thanks.
Sure.
I know you're really busy, so don't worry too much.
I'm never busy.
Same for me. I like to do that if I possibly can.
Okay.
Oh, basic question for you. Is there a primer of, what frequencies to use and the
I'm glad you
protocols,
asked.
what you say? And
I am glad you asked that. So, we at CCARES for 2 meters are going to be using 144.33. That's going to be our 2 meter simplex contact frequency. And we will decide what to use for 70 centimeters. The calling frequency for 70 centimeters is 446.0. So most of you will be on 2 meters and 70 centimeters. Those are the two frequencies to use. 144.33 you will find is predominantly just CCARES, since that is one of our coordinated district frequencies for emergency operations. The calling frequency for 2 meters, and we can, let's see, let's just look all this up here. Let me close this. Let me share this back again. And let's go to, I'm going to use ARRL because they're the ones we like. And I'm going to click in here, just simply band plan on my search. So if you type in band plan right here on your website search, and then hit go. And here we go, band plan. And you can see this is how the band frequencies are planned out for use. Starts down at, well, looky here, 2200 and 600 meter bands. Wow. So here's 160, 80, and some of these may or may not have what they call calling frequencies, but if you look up, we go up here to 6 meters, you can see we've got a lot more information. Look at here. There's a frequency if we're using single sideband. There's a calling frequency for single sideband. That's 50.125. And there is an FM simplex, couple of FM simplex frequencies, okay, that are designated for. With my trusty 6 meter FM radio, I'll use that. If we go down to 2 meters, you see, no, we don't want to use that. I'll use that. Well, looky here. Our 144.33 is right in the Oscar subband. Oops. Everybody know what Oscar is?
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a hint. This is amateur radio. I think this is orbiting station something amateur radio. It's a satellite. FM repeater inputs, blah, blah, blah. Oh, look at that. National simplex calling frequency, 146.52. Okay. On the 220 band, or 1.25 meters, here we go. Repeater inputs, blah, 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 blah. If you see it, tell me. Here's an FM simplex. Okay. So you would go somewhere in here and listen. You know, you could tune up and down those channels and look for traffic. 70 centimeters. National simplex frequency. Right there. Whoops. Okay. 33 centimeters, or the 900 megahertz band. Wow, that one's a busy one, huh? Here's some simplex. If anyone sees a calling frequency, holler out to me and I'll and I'll dwell on it. I don't see one, but these are simplex, FM and other, including this digital voice. DV is for DMR and D-Star and Fusion, if you're familiar with those technologies. So it'd be between 927.075 up to 125. This one is one that we might be interested in. If you got a 1.2 gigahertz radio, there you go. If you got a 2.4 megahertz radio, there we go. We're going to learn the frequency for 3 centimeters, I think. There's 5. Oh, here we are.
10 gigahertz.
Yep, 10 gigs up at the microwaves. All of these are eligible for field day activities. And you can log each one of those simplex voice contacts is worth 1 point. Each CW contact is worth 2 points. Each digital contact is worth 2 points. All right. Simple enough. Any questions before we tie it up?
So should I call it, sorry. So would I call the national calling frequency or the simplex?
Well, I would, it's a good question. And let me bring up the, rules, because the rules are kind of, I want to make sure I use the right language, because the rules speak to the what frequencies to use, and they seem to discourage using the national calling frequencies, but there's nothing that says you can't start there and move a different place. So here we go. Remember your exchange? Mm-hmm. Okay. Here's the miscellaneous rules. There is a place for frequencies. I think I might have passed it. It might be before this.
Kevin, while you've got that up, I want to spend another minute or two talking about Delta versus Echo in terms of station types and a few other things.
Sure, let's do that. And I'll be perfectly candid with you. This year is different because of the pandemic and because so many people will not be operating as a group. I want to make sure I've got the right one here. Yes, this is revision A. By the way, this is the complete package, and we're looking at the rules. You need to make sure you have the latest version when you go looking at it, because some things have changed, and I want to make sure I point out this change here. Class Delta, and it applies specifically to Class Delta, which is home stations. This is probably what will apply to most of us, not all of us. But you can see that this rule that has been long-standing for many years has been struck so that a Class Delta station normally cannot work another Class Delta station. That's not true this year. You can work any other field day station. And that is spelled out here in this temporary rule waiver to field day, just for this year. Okay? I'm going to take and put this particular document into the chat buffer for you so that you can download it.
Yeah, it's aarl.org/field-day-rules.
Here we go. There it is. Field day packet revision A. I'm going to see if I can put both of these here. Whoops, no, I can't. That's all right. Okay, that's available for download in the chat window.
Kevin,
Yes.
before I forget, let me give you the call sign that we'll be using from Clover Park. It's the call sign for the West Side Amateur Radio Club is Whiskey Alpha 6 Romeo Charlie, West Side Amateur Radio Club, WA6RC.
Okay.
You come across that, we'll have a little exchange if possible. Appreciate
Very good. Very good. That's the West Side Ham Radio Club.
That's correct.
Clover Park. Clover
Yes.
Park is over by the Santa Monica Airport.
Right next to it.
So.
And we'll be maintaining the type of situation with masks and everything else.
You guys will be arrayed as the Knights of the Round Table.
Something like that, yeah. We'll be wearing our armor, suit of armor. I bet you we're going to start calling ourselves Sir Lancelot.
Well, I didn't want to put the word circle in there. Okay, so Class A is a club, non-club portable. That's not us, and we're not going to have it get on the air station. However, WA6RC may. We just don't know. All these rules apply to that. Free VHF station for clubs. That doesn't apply to us. Class A battery club, non-club portable. What you need to do is read through these and determine which one applies to you. Class B, 1 or 2 person portable. Class B battery, 1 or 2 person portable, which would apply to those who are using their handy talkie or HT with battery power. In other words, you don't have it plugged into electricity. You're using strictly the battery. And you charge up another one and change it out when it goes dead. That's a Class B. Class C is a mobile. If you're out there in your car, you become a 1 or 2 or 3 Charlie. By the way, the 1, 2, or 3, all of that is determined by the number of HF transmitters that you will have operating simultaneously. Okay? But most of you will be Class D or Delta home stations. Class Echo home stations are using emergency power for transmitters and receivers. Because I have a battery on my house and solar panels on the roof, and we don't use commercial power directly, I get to claim this, I think. If somebody tells me I'm wrong, then I guess I'll be wrong, depending on where the authority comes from on that. Foxtrot is normally us, an emergency operations center. That's for you folks that are new to CCARES. That's what we normally are. We're normally a 2 or a 3 Foxtrot. And we are also eligible for a get on the air station, which we almost always have. Now, what were we looking for in here before we got vectored off onto this, Doug?
We were, let's see, I sort of vectored this off just to be sure that we spent a few minutes talking about the class of station. I think, I'm trying to remember where you were taking us before you were so rudely interrupted.
Does anyone remember?
I think you're looking for the frequencies, national calling frequency versus back.
Oh, that's right. Where it speaks about the frequencies. Okay, good. Thank you. By the way, this right here, 7.3.14. This is where you file your report. Okay, we can take a quick look at that. Maybe. Huh. I'll come back to that.
Does the software do it for you automatically or no?
Say again?
Does the software do it for you automatically or no?
Oh, the software that we used, it will actually generate a report where you can then open the web form, use the report from the field day logger after you print it out or you have it displayed. All you have to do is one column to the next. It matches it almost column for column. I'll say almost. At least it has in the past. Let's see, there's more about the reporting. This is the field data, awrl.org is your point of contact. Oh, look at here. I don't want to do that. We want those frequencies. Frequencies, where it talks about the calling frequencies. Oh, look at here. This is what it is. And let's see, this is, oh, look at here. This must be in the FAQ. So if you download that document that I put in the chat window, it's in here. So very good stuff to know. Tells you where to work your stuff. Okay, calling frequencies. So the 6-meter calling frequencies is if you spin the dial and don't, whoops, I have to make this a little smaller. And don't find a clear frequency above 50.125 and call CQ there. Remember, per the FCC rules, the range 50.0 to 50.1 is limited to CW only. So it tells you, talks about the band plans. Here's 2 meters. Calling frequency is, where the heck is it? Look at here. Activity rate, and this is SSB and CW. This is not FM. So we get on to FM.
There it is.
Okay. While the use of the 146.52 is no longer prohibited as of 2015, always listen first for activity. Be sure, this is the common sense part of the Part 97 rules. They are rules, but they imply common sense. In other words, you don't hear a weak station, but they're so weak, so you decide to call over them anyhow. Not good operating practice. So we want to be kind and considerate of our fellow operators. But I can guarantee you go to 146.52 and you have a decent antenna system, I can guarantee you will hear somebody. And if you call, because you don't hear anybody else calling, and if you call, someone about 9 times out of 10 will hear you on field day. Okay, so that is in which part of the document? Let's see what part of the document this is in. VHF operation and field day. This is the part of the document that's going to apply to many of you. And this is where you want to look and study up before 11 o'clock tomorrow. Here we've got, oh gosh, less than 24 hours to go. Okay. Did anyone not get the rules downloaded from the chat buffer? Thank you, John Melvin, for that link. All right, any questions before we tie it up then? Is everybody looking forward to field day and having a good time tomorrow for a whole 24 hours? Who's going to stay up that long?
No way.
Khalil, how much coffee are you going to drink?
As much as I can.
There you go. There you go. Okay. All right, guys. Well, if there's no, go ahead. Are you just waving?
No, one more question.
Go ahead.
So in the initial setup box, after you enter the password,
yes,
there's 2 call signs you put in, one for your operator and one for...
Put your call sign in there.
Both places my call sign.
Say again?
My call sign in both places?
Yes.
Okay.
And if someone, and see the reason that it has a call sign for the station and a call sign for the operator is because they could be 2 different call signs. And many times when you're operating as a group, that will be the case. Like when we're back at the fire station, our call sign will be K6CCR, but your operator call sign is KN6JJK, right?
Good memory, yeah.
Okay. But when you register it, you have to use K6CCR, unless you want to register it for your own personal use. And frankly, Scott is definitely deserving of the $8.99 if you choose to register it yourself. That's what I did with his other amateur radio contact log. And I'll show you what it looks like. It's just for your edification.
So how would CCARES get credit for the contacts I do then?
Say that again?
So basically the points don't accumulate to any club, it's just individual, right?
Yes, these are going to be your individual points when you turn this in. Now, when you turn it in, CCARES will also turn in theirs. What we're going to do, though, is the only thing a club can do, we can't claim points at the club, but we can say, hey, we've got K6FCC, we've got KN6JJK, we've got KN6GIX and KJ6OGX, KG6COM. Those are all CCARES members. So any points that you guys got, CCARES will get. Does that make sense?
So you'll do that from your end. Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Sweet. Now this is what his generic amateur radio contact logger looks like. Okay, I use this for, what did I use this for? I can't remember what I used this for. This is for Route 66 on the air contacts. These are some contacts that we made. And I use this instead of using my normal logger that I use. But that's it. All right, folks. One last call for questions, comments.
K6FCC, does the software also do parrot or not?
I don't know. Good question, though.
Question.
Go ahead.
For the WinLink contacts, where do we log those?
Those you will actually not log in the field day logger, but those you will have to do separately. I am going to look at WinLink in the rules, or if you want to look at WinLink in the rules, you'll be updated as well. But I'm going to try to extract that, and I'll send it out over the mail list so that everybody has it. And by the way, this video will go up on YouTube and will be linked up on the CCARES website. One last thing I wanted to say is most of us operators will be also monitoring the CCARES repeater. So it's going to be what we would basically be a loose net, an unorganized net, so that if anyone has a question, they can get on the repeater and say, this is November Mike 2 Echo. I have a field day question. and someone will answer you, hopefully.
Why'd you single me out?
Yeah.
Are you emailing out the password when we're done?
Yes, I am.
Thank you all. Thank you very much for your presentation.
You're welcome. Thank you all for joining.
Thanks.
And yeah, I'll upload this to YouTube in just a little while. Bye-bye, everybody.
Nice meeting you all.